I would really like to see Munster do well, you know. This is going to give you an opportunity where you got to accelerate as much as you can.
Fantastic, sell out the oval, it could a gigantic, and after match we are gonna have a party on the pitch. It's 2020. All for the ready. Come on. Are you ready? I say cricket one time. It's time to party. Suit up for four, make you run up the scores all night. It's 2020. This a new spin. Come on. Are you ready?
The smaller teams have got a very good chance of winning.
Just we used to go out there and get the job done for our country.
They're very keyed up and ready to go. Any team could win.
Who play the better cricket at the end of the day, they will come successful, they will win.
I know that my team is the best and we're going to win this competition.
Sing! Let the party begin! It's 2020! This a new spin. Are you ready? It's time to party! It's a revolution, make us start the revolution tonight. It's 2020! All for the ready. It's 2020!
Welcome to the Stanford Cricket Ground for the second match of a doubleheader on the opening day of the Stanford 2020 tournament. It's the Bahamas versus the Cayman Islands here in Antigua. Patrons are sitting on the grass banks as night falls over this wonderful ground and the light starts to take effect here at the Stanford Cricket Stadium, making it an even more scenic and beautiful backdrop for this all-important second match. Sticky Wicket Pub is going to be well utilized by a lot of the patrons, situated right next to the VC Bird International Airport. Hello and welcome to a very unique tournament, a Pan-Caribbean tournament, 2020 cricket, the first of its kind here in the region. 19 teams, and they're playing for a prize of $1 million US. 14 legends overseeing those 19 countries. One of them is sitting right next to me, the great Elcon Linwall, Curtly Ambrose. Curtly, hello. Now, my first question to you is, since your retirement from the international scene, we've hardly seen you. What have you been up to?
Well, Bish, I think that I've given about 14 or 15 years of my life to cricket, and I try to stay as far away as possible. Nowadays, I'm more of a bass player, playing a local group called the Dread and the Ballhead, and even notice my hairstyle that represents Dread and the Ballhead. So that's what I do these days.
I'd like to get a hairstyle like that as well. Unfortunately, it won't happen. Tell me a little bit. You've sat here and you're now a legend for the Stanford 2020 tournament. You've seen the first game. What are your thoughts on 2020 cricket?
Well, I can safely say that 2020 is up and running. It's always nice to get the first game out of the way. I thought it would have been a little more exciting, but I think that the St. Martin team didn't quite put up a good showing. But nevertheless, there has to be a winner and a loser, and I'm sure that it's going to be more exciting as we go along.
Well, we've got other legends with us, including Sir Everton Weeks, Garfield Sobers, Clive Lloyd, to name but a few, Courtney Walsh as well. But Mike Haseman caught up with another one of our legends a little while ago.
Yeah, thanks, Bish. I mean, there's legends all over the place in this game today, which is wonderful to see. But when you talk about the very, very best, just need to look alongside me. Viv Richards. Viv, thanks for joining us. You enjoyed the day so far?
It's been good. It's been good. I think that first total which we saw, I think that was a pretty competitive total. It's a pity the team batting second didn't quite get up to scratch, but I think we're going to see some interesting cricket, and this is what it's all about. Yeah.
You know what fascinates me about this is it's a bit of a learning curve, isn't it, for a lot of the teams, and those who go forward to the next lot will come back better players.
What I think is important, we have 19 teams here. Some of the teams never been in the mainstream of West Indies cricket before. So to have them here competing, as you can see the way some of them celebrated today, it's like the World Cup. They must have been watching some of the football World Cup, I suppose, in terms of the celebration factor. So I think it's given everyone, I think, the encouragement for them to come back and be a better team if the opportunity arises sometime.
And it's just wonderful to see the passion that the players are showing in the middle.
It's going to get better. It's going to get better. This is only the first day and night which we would have had. I can gather maybe when the better teams get going and the teams who are in form, we're going to see some exciting cricket.
And something that's very important also, Viv, which I'm sure the teams are realising now, fielding. Good fielding is crucial. My thoughts go back to the '75 World Cup, but that's another story.
Yeah, it's great. Who wouldn't want to field on an oval like this? I think the grass is in perfect condition. The ground looks good, and everything I think looks good for spectacular sort of a finish or whatever you're going to get. But what I can say is that the teams are looking competitive, and this is what it's all about. We were hoping that we would see that. Let's hope that as the tournament gets on, it becomes better.
And Viv, here we go, under lights, terrific.
They're beautiful lights. I would have loved to have played on the lights like this in our times, but as you know, better now than ever.
I'd also hesitate to say that maybe this ground, most grounds, are a little bit too small for you in this format.
No, I think this ground just right enough for me now at 54 years of age. I think I'll be able to maybe get one or two, but I'm not quite sure whether I'll be able to clear it.
Thanks for your time, Viv.
Great to see you, Mike.
So Vivian Richards still looking in good shape as well, and I'm sure he's being monitored. He will be able to clear this even at age 52. Curtly Ambrose is alongside me, former West Indies fast bowler. Curtly, let's just talk about some of the benefits of this tournament. The one thing that interests me, and I should really be saying it, but the prize money is excellent.
Yes, I think so. I've never heard, at least not during my time or before, this kind of money that is really being, dished out. I'm quite happy for the youngsters, the guys who are playing today, because as we know, cricket is a very, very hard game. You spend some long hours in the field, and I think at the end of it, you should get some reward. I mean, I missed out, but I'm happy for the guys who are playing today.
Yeah, $100,000 for the man of the match in the final match, $25,000 for the preliminary matches to the man of the match. So good remuneration for the players, and those players today will come from the islands of the Bahamas and the Cayman Islands. A pretty long way away from Antigua, but the Caribbean is a big place, but in pretty close proximity to each other, the Bahamas and the Cayman Islands. They do interact with each other quite a lot. Well, a lot of talk is centered around the activities, the money, but there's also an important factor, a wonderful ground. Let's get some thoughts from Mike Haseman about the pitch.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. There's one thing that's very important also when you're playing for that sort of money, the workbench. The workbench the player's going to be playing on has got to be absolutely perfect. And this is simple as that. Just going to have a bit of a look here. I'll grab one of these silver stumps, which you've seen disturbed a little bit. These are the foot marks. Now, we haven't quite had 40 overs, obviously, in this day's play yet. But have a look at these foot marks. I mean, there's no scrapping at all. There's no damage whatsoever. I might just note that some of these foot marks are a little bit on the wide side, which might sort of concern a few coaches. They might want to be a little bit in here rather than those regions. Let me just put that stump down. So there's no scarring there at all. We go to the follow-through area. There is no scarring either. I mean, it's quite remarkable how tough this and hard this track is. No cracks to be talked about whatsoever. You can see once again, I talked about early in the game, that some of the groupings are not in the right areas. Some of these groupings are a little bit too sparse, and of course we're hoping in the second game, with the Bahamas here watching and also the Cayman Islands, they're going to be looking to group the balls and put pressure on some of the batsmen as well. So that's the story here. I mean, basically this is a road. It is absolutely magnificent to bat on, and it's interesting to see that both captains won the toss, and one captain won the toss, but both captains, upon winning the toss, wanted to field first, which is a little bit different. Back to you, Bish.
Doesn't he just look stunning at Mike Haseman and the sunset as well? It's a beautiful scene here. Curtly Ambrose is still alongside me. Curtly, let's talk about the pitch. How would you have bowled in this version of the game?
Well, it's a very slow pitch, really. A few days ago, I was called in by Mr. Roberts to bowl a few, and I said to him, well, you were a fast bowler. You could have done that yourself, but he's sort of aching at these days. So it's a pretty flat pitch. I think the slower bowlers will be more difficult to dispatch really than the quicker ones. If I was bowling on that pitch, Bish, I would just basically find a line of length and bowl straight between wicket and wicket and reduce the pace. I think that's the best way.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, Curtly Ambrose. Pretty simple stuff, pretty simple method from Curtly Ambrose. Let's find out what happened at the toss with Mike Haseman.
Captains of the match referee for the next game alongside me. We've got Steve Gordon, of course, from the Cayman Islands, and also Llewellyn Armstrong from Bahamas, local guys, and also the match referee, Austin Richard Senior. Thank you. Right, Llewellyn, you have the coin. Steve, you will call. Away you go. Heads is the shout. Tails it is. Okay. You've won the toss. What are you going to do? You're going to field. Okay, now it's a little bit different. Most sides are saying that maybe batting the way to go.
We've faced Cayman a number of times, and we've never batted last. We've always batted first. We've always batted first, and they've beaten us. We want to try something different, something unconventional, and play to our strengths.
Now, you've spent a little bit of time studying the first game. What did you pick up in particular?
Well, I thought the batting up front was a lot more docile than I expected. The batsmen batted well. I just thought they would get off to a slog because we haven't played much 2020, but I just thought it would have started off at a faster pace. And there were a number of spinners in the first game, in the first innings. I thought it was exceptional. I mean, it's different, unconventional. I think that's the way to go, be creative and imaginative.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Steve, you're batting. What would you have done?
If I had won the toss, I'd ask them to bat.
Both captains would have fielded here. That's a little bit of a turn-up.
Right. As he said, we have played them three times already, and we have beaten them all 3 times. And they were at batted first. So we didn't want to change the trend today. Unfortunately, we lost the toss, and we have to bat. We just have to go out there and do our best. We are aiming to get somewhere in the region of 180. So I guess we just have to put our heads to the wheel.
Okay, now what about playing under lights? How much experience under lights have you guys had?
Well, we went to St. Lucia a few weeks ago, and we played under the lights. That was a good tour for us. We beat all the teams there. We played 3 matches and we won all 3 matches. We played 2 under lights, so we have a little bit of experience playing under lights.
Okay, now give us 1 or 2 names for our viewers to watch out for, the spectators.
Well, Pearson Best, Kenyu Tola with the ball, Shahid Mohammed, myself if I get going. We have a very good team. We have a very good all-round team.
And no doubt looking for a solid start, a bit aggressive, but wickets in hand at the death.
Right. Our strategy is basically to bat positive at the beginning without losing wickets, and have a steady momentum going into the last 5 overs where we just accelerate.
Okay, Steve, thanks for your time and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so the story in the middle is the Bahamas have won the toss and they've elected to field.
The lineup of the teams for the Bahamas, well, the Armstrong brothers really will carry the burden for them. Llewellyn Armstrong, a good player he is, and his brother Garfield Armstrong, very useful all-rounder. Dwight Weekly, very good left-arm spinner as well. Well, for the Caymans, you've heard Steve Gordon talk about himself, and he'll be expecting a lot of Pearson Best, reputedly a hard-hitting batsman. So it's all set up for a key encounter. Cayman Islands versus the Bahamas, and we'll go straight down to the commentary box where Pat Simcox is waiting.
Well, it's all go. Second match of the competition, and there's so much to play for. We've spoken about the amount of money at stake, the pride, and all that goes with it. Now we see Gordon. No doubt the butterflies again will be all over. It's an important time, opening batsman. What their strategy is going to be. Will someone try to bat through? Bahamas won the toss and chose to field. And opening bowler O'Neill Levy is going to be starting off from the Pavilion restaurant end. And 23 years old. It's just the prime time for a fast bowler. 2 slips in place, the man on the drive and the offside. Third man, fine leg in place, it's conventional. The lights are on and there's a buzz around the ground. The second match of the tournament. Here we go. Down the leg side and wide call straight away. Players are running all over the place. You just sense there's a lot of intensity and passion to win these matches. Batsman will want to just get in and have a good look in the lights. Lights are pretty good. Big appeal, long way forward, just outside the line. A hint to swing back into the right-hander.
Yeah, it's a good delivery from O'Neill Levy. And this is his stock delivery, really. I remember when I first saw the Bahamas playing, he had a problem where he fell away at the point of the delivery ball from very wide of the crease. He's been working very hard on trying to streamline his action by getting a lot closer into the stumps and not falling away as much and pushing the ball down the leg side. He's lost a little bit of weight as well from the last time I saw him. And they've had some trainers working with them going through all the islands, all 19 territories, physical trainers, dietitians working with each team. And this young man seems to have lost some weight.
chopped away down to third man. A little fumble. They should get back for the second and don't take the opportunity. A run lost for sure. Just a little clap from Levy.
Pace of the new ball, and it's a white ball this time. We saw an orange ball being used in the first game. Probably one of the reasons why 2 runs weren't taken. Clash between batsman and bowler.
Bish, you've got a little interest in this match then.
Pretty much so. Pretty much so, and I suppose it's a speculative interest because I've been the one who is allowed to administer to the Bahamas, but they've lost to the Cayman Islands so often. I've been trying to stick a little bravado in there.
I get the feeling you're nervous.
I promise not to allow it to affect my commentary.
I reckon it's gonna, Bish. I reckon if they get going and they do well, I reckon you'll be standing on your feet here. Now, Bish, tell us a little bit about that grip. You've been talking to him.
Not sure if he's just trying to avoid the ball, doing a little bit too much through the air. Just looking to get the ball to skid off the pitch towards the first over.
Some real variations coming. Cross the seam is one of the grips, and you watch where the front foot is, Bish. I mean, he's varying the length where he's bowling from. Look at that. That's pretty different.
It's an interesting sort of technique and holding it across the seam as well, minimizing, I suppose, any movement through the air, but sometimes the bowlers will do it to hit the side of the ball and allow the ball to skid on, or maybe just hit the seam and hold up. So varying reasons why it could be done. But there's a gentleman, I think, who is quite useful as well. He's a good athlete. Garfield Armstrong. He's been around for a while. He's 41. But it's a young-looking 41. And I think he bowls with a much shorter run now than he did in his youth. But very experienced, and I think still, even at 41, pretty talented.
Well, 41, he's a good athlete and he's very talented. Let's have a look. Just bustles in and rushes you a little bit.
Excellent, Gary.
Any strategies that you've spoken to them about? To maybe just give a little insight to us. Powerfully struck. They want the 2, they can get the 2, no problem with that. Just a little fumble. More runs, just a single. Now, I'm interested to hear what kind of strategy you've been talking about. They've wanted to field. That's the start. It's a bit different.
I haven't spoken to them about any tactics. They've just acquired a new full-time coach, and he is solely in charge of those tactical innovations on the field. He's a very young man.
That's going to be 4 byes. Wides. Poor keeper had absolutely no chance.
Yeah, his arm just went past the perpendicular Armstrong and fell away at the point of delivery too much. And then, because of that, created too much of an angle down the leg side. And operating from a very short run is exactly what he would have been trying to avoid.
Yeah, if you're not bowling at a great pace, you'd want to be a little bit more accurate than that. Again, the variation from behind the crease.
Get it in!
Shouts of get it in as quickly as you can. Just a single.
No room, Garfield. No
Gordon just making sure he knows exactly where the fielders are. One slip in place. Slashed away. That'll run away for 4. It was wide. All the width in the world that he needed to swing the bat at it. And it ends the over.
It's a good shot from Gordon. He got the whip. We saw 5 wides down the leg side. A few deliveries prior to this, and this would have been a wide had it not connected with the bat. So problems for Armstrong, the bowler, and maybe just an indication there as to why Levy, who we saw bowling the first over, was holding the ball across the seam. The white ball at times in certain conditions can swing a little bit too much. And Gordon off to a good start.
Extra's always a worry already. Swing and a miss. Well, interesting to see what strategy they employ in the first 6 overs. That's when the fielders are in. They've got 2 slips in place. So, from a batting point of view, you really want to just try and apply a little bit of pressure and get some fielders away. Nicely played. Squirted down a 3rd man. Just a single. Good fielding.
Talked about the coach, and here's the coach, gentleman, alongside the young lady. John Welch, out of the UK, newly acquired, and will take up his full-time position, and his responsibilities are wide-ranging, from the grassroots to the senior team.
If he hits, he's going to be close. Well, not even a call to have a look. Pretty sure he was in. Good fielding. Nice and smart and good running. He ran straight away. One stump to hit and bang. No problem. So close for the young man. Into the 3rd over, 17 for no loss. You'd be happy with that. Decent start so far. I'll tell you what, that strategy of bowling from behind the crease, front foot hitting the back line, and that's very interesting. That's a real variation. Bowling the same pace with the arm and just bowling from a metre behind. It changes the pace without changing the action.
I tell you what, he won't bowl a no ball because a front foot no ball, if you overstep the front line, requires a free hit for the very next ball. So I don't think you'll find too many bowlers looking to transgress with that front foot no ball rule, because it allows a free hit. 3 overs gone, 17 without loss. By free hit, we mean the very next ball that the bowler delivers. The no ball is, of course, 2 runs. And the very next ball, the batsman is allowed to hit the ball any way that he likes. That's a long way behind the crease, without the worry of being caught or bowled or anything like that, because it's a no ball, it's a free hit.
The bowler's nightmare. It's loaded in the batsman's favour nowadays, isn't it?
Nowadays.
Yeah, you're right. It's nicely played. Off the back, catches the punch. And sharp fielding.
Garship Bilay was the fielder. It was a good throw, and fielding will certainly be one of the focal points, as you mentioned, Pat.
I think the fielding and the combination of the extras that you give away can be the undoing often of a side. And, you need to watch that carefully. Up and out. The first wicket goes down straight to mid-on.
Muted, I suppose, celebration. Fenris bent. Here's the catcher. And the Bahamas are celebrating. A wicket for Armstrong. Seemed to get through a shot too early. Paul, and, well, unusual method with the fingers pointing directly in the direction of the batsman, but he held on to it.
Well, he'd be disappointed. He faced 11 deliveries just for 2 and 18 for 1 in the 4th over. The pressure starts to mount already. The new man has already arrived at the crease. There's no doubt that he'll be keen to get on the action as soon as possible. He's been watching for 3.5 overs. Mohammed is the next man in. Nice little dab, no run. Just a single. This is the dismissal, straight down mid-on's throat. Safe catch, no problem with that. And the gap nicely placed, another single. So 4 overs bowled, just 5 runs and over now. That would be a little bit light. The reason for it is they've lost a wicket. See there, Paul's gone for 2, faced 11 deliveries, and then got out, and that didn't help the cause.
That's for sure. But it's Best. Pearson Best, who certainly is one of the players that's going to interest me. Has a great reputation, but for the moment, Levy. Let's remind our viewers that one of the rules of 2020, one of the laws, is that batsman can be timed out if at the moment that a batsman is dismissed, he does not make his way to the crease. The next batsman make his way to the crease and be ready to face his first ball within 90 seconds. It's a minute and a half.
Squirted down to third man, and it's gone for 4. It went down the pace down the hill, and third man just could not get around quick enough.
Bennett was the fielder, but it was Gordon who flashed at it just a little bit closer to him than the batsman thought, and he got away with it with 2 slips in waiting. Just the pace of it beat Bennett on the boundary.
Quick single taken, again good running, sure running. So important to call and go straight away.
Talked about the Bahamas coach a little while ago. Well, he's talking to Mike Haseman.
See, and I've got John Walsh alongside me. John, just I mean, how long have you been with the Bahamas boys now?
Just 3 months.
Okay, so it's not that long, but what's your impressions at this stage?
It's all good impressions. There's a lot of talent over there. They all play very positive cricket, enjoy their cricket, so there's good scope for doing great things over there, I think.
And just give us a little bit about your background from the UK.
I've been coaching full-time for 7 years. I'm a level 3 coach. I've been doing lots of county cricket over there, especially at youth level, which is the main reason I come to the Bahamas, to keep the sort of youth development going.
Okay, now what are the most important things you've been drilling your guys with, particularly over the last 4 weeks?
Just getting all the simple things right, really. Just getting the bowling going straight. Obviously, the running between the wickets quick, turning the right way, the ground fielding good. Just lots of all the simple things. I think if you do the simple things well, then you're going to come out on top.
And there seems to be a nice buzz in the field at the moment.
Very good buzz. Hopefully, they'll keep it going for the 20 overs, which I'm sure they will.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, good advice. Keep the basics nice and simple. Stick to them, and more often than not, you'll win games of cricket. Good ground fielding. He spoke about turning the right way, keeping your eye on the ball when you're running, between the wickets, all those kind of basics. Those are the things that are trained in the top players. Spoke about the buzz on the field. Well, there certainly is one. Another over ends. The intensity still remains. There's so much at stake. What a day it's been. Beginning of a wonderful era in the Stanford 2020 competition. That is a pretty picture in Antigua.
A reasonable crowd has gathered here as well in the main stand, just in front of our media center.
And of course, Bish, there's been a huge interest around the world generated around this competition. It's really been taken far and away. A lot of people watching the progress, and I've no doubt that it's going to be a huge, huge success. I just sense that the youngsters that are watching at home, sitting around the ground, suddenly realize the opportunities. Now look at that. Sit down next to that and watch a game of cricket. It worries me that Mike Haseman's in that neck of the woods, and we may find him lying next to the swimming pool pretty shortly. Good fielding.
Well, it's an interesting sort of field position, I think, because we've got the two guys in this sort of area, and there's no one at third man, so the ball goes past there. It's 4. The keeper standing up to the stumps.
Keep it in front, skip.
The rate has come down.
Run out!
Cut away again. Just one run off the over. So the pressure being applied. Pretty happy man then.
Yeah, and he got through the field restrictions with a good over as well. 3 overs for 17 for Armstrong. Llewellyn Armstrong, brother of Garfield Armstrong. Garfield Armstrong. Certainly, the captain Llewellyn is quite a good batsman as well. And again, one of the players who have been around for a while in Bahamas cricket. Now here's an interesting change in the bowling. I think it's Dwight Weekly.
Hey, you gotta be in. You gotta be in.
It is.
Gary, you gotta be in.
Another very experienced player, works in the hotel industry in the Bahamas, but he's got quite a good action for a left-arm spinner. I like the look of him when I was there. Bit of a comedian as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He's got a nice tall action. Comes right over the top. Nice approach. And spinners have been successful today. There's no doubt that taking the pace off the ball is a real game plan.
Excellent.
2 balls, 2 dots. The pressure mounts. Got a nice pivot as well. And gets in pretty close.
Run out!
Squeezed away. Single comes eventually. Squeezes on, yeah, Bishop. There's no doubt that the Bahamas are doing the job. Cayman Islands are going to need to break the shackles, a couple of boundaries, else they get into trouble now. Little dab again, little dab here and there. I'm afraid you leave too much to do. You don't get the 180 score, do you? You don't get the score that you know is a winning score.
Talk about scoring areas made off. It's certainly one of those areas.
Well, just a little shimmy down the track, which means that it's pretty tough to give the decision. He's bowling it pretty quickly, needs to be very careful, and then just a little lob in. Good fielding. Just what the bowler wants to see. Ends the over, a real good over. Applying even more pressure.
2 runs off. The first over bowled by Dwight, aka coach looking on. One of the problems, though, in the Bahamas is that you've ever heard of the Golden Girls, 2 of which Debbie Ferguson and Chandra Strip, 2 very good athletes who've established themselves well on the world stage. So many good basketballers, young basketballers, and American sports predominating at the moment in the Bahamas. So getting the interest of cricket is really the battle that the coach has to come up against, getting it started in the schools at primary school level, establishing his programs. It's a challenge, but one which I'm sure a young man as he is will take up.
And certainly one that this competition is going to help him with.
Back up.
One senses it's time. It's now time. Put bat to ball and take some risks. There you go, straight to square leg, straight to the man, and simple catch. It was a long hop. He could have hit it anywhere, and he chose the fielder. And the second wicket goes down. It goes down just as Tony Cozier takes the seat. What do you think, Tony?
I think the Cayman Islands are digging a hole for themselves here. They've started slowly, they've lost 2 wickets, they're going nowhere. 29 for 2, we're in the 8th over. That's not the way to play 20 overs cricket.
Absolutely. Really puts a lot of pressure on the incoming batsman. There's been a lot spoken about the number 4 as he gets to the crease now. And not only has he got it immediately up the rate, he's got to inspire the rest of the team that are still to come. There's real hope. 29 for 2. He's staring down a barrel.
Your batsman is Pearson Best from Barbados. Played for St. Catherine Club in the Division 1 competition for many years. Played alongside our cameraman Ryle Stewart, in fact, also from St. Catherine. There he is. Both big hitters. Pearson Best somewhat more successful than Ryle. But he had a pretty good record in club cricket in Barbados. Here's a dismissal. Yeah, the skipper, Steve Gordon, can well shake his head. That was a delivery which should have been put away. It was short, and he found the fielder at square leg. O'Neill Levy, the catcher. Armstrong's second wicket. Nice shot. Down to third man. Third man has a long way to go. Kicks it back. Nice piece of work on the third man boundary. You just feel here that the Bahamas have picked up the vibes from the US Virgin Islands.
Yeah, and the Caymans have been caught in the headlights. That's wonderful. You know what he's been watching lately?
Bowling, man.
Well, his name is Mario.
Good back up to
Mario Ford on the third man boundary.
Put a little bit more in that Garfield. We'll let it pass you.
1 ball left for 8 overs. just 31 on the board. Wide called. Tell you what, the batsman risked it. It was marginal.
Yeah, he'll get a single off the last ball of the over. Pearson best. So at the end of 8 overs, a lot of work to do here for the Caymans. 33 for 2. We go down to Mike Haseman.
Thanks, guys. You say down, but I'm actually up. I've got the sticky wicket bar here, and I've been trying to find a good mate of mine for some time. It's taken me quite a bit of... You can't actually see me around the place. 6'9", Joel Gunner. Joel, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Not a bad view from up here, is it?
No, it's a lot quieter over the side of the world, and, you know, the usual thing, I always look for the best sites.
Quite right. I know that very well. Now, the Cayman Islands in trouble.
Yeah, I would think so. I would say that, you know, from the beginning of the games today, we've been seeing a fairly high standard of feeling and a fairly high standard of cricket, considering that the 4 teams that are playing are not the traditional cricket teams. But, excellent bowling. What I'm saying is that they're well prepared, and I think that everyone who's watching the game would appreciate that everybody's making an effort to compete.
Yeah, dead right. Now, what about your team? Who are you looking after throughout the Stanford 2020?
I'm looking after Antigua. They have been preparing for the last 2 or 3 months, but you know, they have to play consistently well to get to the final. I'm not so worried about how well they will play. You know, we're more looking forward to having competitive teams and making sure that everything goes well.
Okay. And how much time have you spent with them, Joel?
Well, no, my time is mainly in administration. You know, it is on a needs basis. What I would say is that Antigua is one of the better organized teams, like the other mainline teams like Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana. It is only the other teams who like the Cayman Islands, which come together, that you will spend a lot of time in training because they're now separated. They need more help than the mainstream teams. You know, there's also a Leeward Islands competition and a Windward Islands competition, so they're well looked after.
I know that you spent a lot of time going around Antigua and being very specific about the financial needs of the Antigua Cricket Association. And that's a very nice shot, by the way. Nice little paddle. Those boundaries always help. But that must have been quite challenging and also quite an exciting venture for you to dig into.
I think that what is happening is that the cricket clubs and the cricket islands, they know what their needs are, and you know, most of the problems are infrastructure and having practice facilities in different parts of the island, because you don't want to bring a fellow from over one side of the island to another. What they've decided to do is to more or less target 4 central areas in terms of in the country and have facilities and nets and bowling material and that's all of them, bowling machines, which is better.
Well, I'll tell you what, with those sort of shots you just played now, that lovely drive through the covers, and that's exactly what you need. That improves the players.
2 very good shots.
Yep. So they're just picking things up a bit nicely at the moment. There's just a half a pill. But the facility here, Joel, I mean, you've seen many facilities around the cricketing world, and this is quite remarkable.
Yeah, we can't complain. You know, we talking about the facility. You know, we've been playing like cricket now for 28 years or so, and besides St. Lucia, this is the next place. Well, this is the place in terms of night. We played here a year ago or more in a day-night game, and now they've got St. Lucia, but this facility, I think they've set the standard for the other islands to follow.
Okay, Joel, terrific, mate. Thanks very much for your time. What about you and I just go to the bar and share a beverage? What do you reckon while we're up here?
I don't need any encouragement, Mike. All I would say to you is the Pope Catholic.
So 45 for 2. The kids on there having some fun as well with a bit of cricket with Dad. 45 for 2. Joel Garner, they reckon to be one of the tallest cricketers, if not the tallest, to have played internationally. Serving dual purposes here. He's administrator, as you heard him say. He's one of the 14 legends that Adam Sanford has signed up. Oh! Is Aikanayaku, originally from Sri Lanka. Left arm spinner, and of course Joel Garner, if one of these lights goes out, that he can just go out there and hold the light himself and He's tall enough. In the air, down to the boundary, gone all the way. Bye-bye.
That's the way to go. All the way. That's the big hit. Well, he showed just a couple of balls ago with a lovely drive through the offside, and now straight over the boundary. And is there more to come? Because this is what they need. Bang!
A little hesitation before they come through. Left arm spinner. Ekanayake here. Went to school, in fact, at Trinity College in Kandy in Sri Lanka, and was at school at the same time as Sangakkara, the left-handed batsman and keeper for Sri Lanka now.
No!
Good school. Trinity, well known in the Kandy area.
Of course, their ground is used as a test match ground. There's a 6 from Pearson Best, typical. Dropped, not easy, hit pretty hard, overhead.
Get it in!
And punched it over the bar, so to speak. Pick up a second.
Yeah, I think you've got to give the fielder a little bit of credit. He got his hands there. It was hit powerfully and was always going high. Had no chance.
Well, ball!
Nice on drive.
Get to the stop! Get it in!
There's the fielder in the way.
Oh, come on, ready!
Bennett just fumbles it, so gives the batsman the extra run. This is an expensive over from Ekanayake. 11 off it. So 10 gone, it's 56 for 2.
Suddenly, Tony, there's a little injection in the innings, and the platform's been laid. 10 overs bowled, so we're halfway. Wickets in hand.
Listen.
2 men set, so
Argentina.
it's all set up nicely. Just maybe that was their game plan all along. I'm sure they had wickets in hand and get themselves to position where they couldn't attack.
Get it in, go! Push harder than that! Get it in!
Just a single. So Pearson Best and Shahid Mohammed, both of them are prison officers in the Cayman Islands. Just wonder how much crime they have there. I think they have probably a lot of time on their hands.
Oh!
Little top edge, paddle down towards long leg, and he slipped, and the ball will beat him. A comedy of errors at deep backward square leg. Blair's the fielder, or in the fielding position to be more accurate, because he certainly wasn't the fielder there.
Well, it was always going to spin. He had to be careful of that, and once it did, he'd come in too quickly. Then he couldn't turn. He's down on the boundary, and that's not the place you want to misfield right now.
I suppose it's got a little bit slippery. Maybe some dew on the outfield.
And what do you reckon he's going to be telling his mates when he gets home? He's talking about it.
Stand again.
Important if they turn around, take a catch, do something.
Come on.
Oh, he's got some more problems here, but he won't catch this one. That's a fine shot. This is a partnership that the Caymans needed here. They started very slowly. They lost 2 early wickets. But now these 2 batsmen are motoring on. Partnership now with 36 from 20 deliveries.
Nightmare for a bowler. You see that.
Well, he can't sweep that, that's for sure. But he'll have to bowl it over.
Get it off, Lorenzo. Get the ball.
Just manages to pull it back. Oh, Mohammed looks really good here. It's the second cover drive we've seen him play. He's gone on very quickly. He's 27 off 23 deliveries. He's had 4 fours. Native of Guyana. Played for the Guyana under-19 team, 1995 West Indies tournament.
Get to the stump, do it!
And more misfielding out there. Levy it is.
Well, the pressure's clearly starting to tell now.
Over number 11, 70-2.
End of an over that bowler I'd like to forget. Just too many runs, and see the fielder coming in not balanced, got down a little bit too late, probably took his eye off the ball, cost his team. What a view. That's the projected scores going at the moment. 127, 8 and over, 142.
Well, if they go ahead as they've gone in the last 2 overs, the last 2 overs have cost 25. So they could well get up to 180 or thereabouts. But it all depends on this partnership and the other batsmen going at this pace.
Well, ball. Get to the stump, Ranger. Back up to it.
And also on the Bahamas fielders fumbling as they have done.
Hands on it.
Yeah, now this is the problem for fellows who are getting up to 40. They start to blow. Again, that sweep shot being used to effect. Mohammed is age 30. Pearson Best is 42. Oh, it'll be 42 again. Cracked it in the air.
Back up to it.
Well stopped. Jonathan Barry is a teenager, age 18. Good work. Body in behind it. Got rid of it quickly. No question about that being a wide. Cayman Islands coach is Theo Cuffey, former Trinidad and Tobago player. Hard-hitting batsman back in the 70s. Been in the Caymans for a long time, looking after their cricket up there.
Beauty. Get to the stump. Back up to it.
Nice bit of work again by Barry.
Excellent.
Ian Bishop, his fellow Trinidadian, has admonished me for placing Theo Cuffey a little bit earlier than I did. 1980s, he says, he played.
Well ball, man.
Played, in fact, in the last Trinidad and Tobago team that won the regional championship prior to this year, when they won both. 75 for 2 from 12 overs.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
This announcement, if you want to be asking you kindly to move over to the grass area. Thank you.
Get him, guys. You coming?
Just a little chat, and no doubt it's about, we've set it all up now.
Hey, let him carry from over here.
What a view.
Right?
What an outlook.
Mix it up.
This is pretty a picture in the cricket world you'll see.
Beauty.
Sliced away.
Get it in. Back up, guys. Excellent.
Well, clearly the efforts now, instead of looking for the 2, it's just a 1. As the batsmen begin to tire.
Beauty. Get to the stump. Back up, Morrison. Take it easy on him.
Nice action.
Do it.
Tall left arm spinner. Just pushing it through, as you would imagine. Good keeping too, but that back foot was grounded.
Bowling from well behind the crease. Making sure there's no ball at all. And a good take.
Beauty. Get to the stump. Back up the Ranger. Get it in. Back up. Excellent bowling.
Well, this is the time that the batting side want to accelerate. They've set it all up.
Run out chance. That will take some more of the wind out of Pearson Best. Hasn't got much left. Ekanayake, the fielder.
had he hit, gone.
Now Pearson Best will tell the umpire, take all the time you want. Just give me a little opportunity here to get my breath back. Austin Christopher, the umpire there, taking some time, giving Best a little chance to get a bit of puff back.
Reminds me of a story batting with John T. Rhodes once.
Come to wait, give me him.
Batting, running like crazy. Eventually, you're happy to get out and sit on the side, give your wicket away.
Similar situation. We come to the end of the over, 80 for 2. 50 partnership raised. Club cricket in Barbados. Youngster from the schools came in. And the other batsman was a veteran, but had a well-established reputation. And was pushed for a couple of threes. And when he was pushed for the third three, he accepted the call and then stopped, turned back and grounded, and the youngster said, well, you called me for a third. He said, yeah, I knew you were going to be run out. You were a danger to my innings. So good partnership from these two. Change in bowling now. We're going to have Blair coming on. Left arm quickie. There's 7 overs remaining. It's 80 for 2 Caymans. They've made a revival, these two, after the early loss of a couple of wickets.
Well, you can look at it. 80 for 2, and 7 overs to go. Probably with wickets in hand, a minimum of 8 you'd want.